I'm not gonna do the cringy slow motion music stuff, but hey, if you like this look, keep on watching. So I started off with doing my brows first. I use a lot of concealer to carve it out and I mess up a lot. So the products I used was the Anastasia Dip Brow and Ebony and Maybelline's Fit Me Concealer to clean it up in Sandstorm. I like to use a darker concealer, kind of like my shade, to clean up my brows, just so there's not that awkward line. There's an awkward line right here, but that's just from cleaning them up. Anyways, I'm gonna prime my eyes with the Age Rewind. This is another Maybelline concealer, and it is in shade Neutralizer. So I'm gonna put this on my eyelid. I'm gonna blend this out with a damp Real Techniques sponge. Once it's blended out, I like to take my Airspun powder. You can get this, I get this at Walmart. It's the translucent one. I'm just gonna take a little puff, because I don't wanna take powder on my Real Techniques sponge yet. And I'm just gonna set the concealer that we put on our eyelid. I'm just gonna take a brush and brush it away because we're not really technically baking, we're just setting. And what this does is take away discoloration. Also, the powder makes it a smooth surface, so everything blends easier. So now I'm gonna take my Morphe 25A. I'm gonna take my Wet n Wild crease brush, I think that's what it's called. And I'm gonna dip into this little corner shade for my transition. And I'm gonna blend this a little farther out than the crease. And once we blended that out, we're gonna start taking deeper shades. So I'm gonna take a bit smaller brush. This is the Y17, and I'm gonna start going into these colors. I'm gonna take this one right here, tap off the excess just so there's no fallout and it's not like a big hunk of color in one area, because that will take longer to blend. That's why I tap it out. Sure, it's a bit powdery, but these shadows are good. And I'm gonna first go into my corner right here and then blend it softly outwards to my inner corner. As you can see, that shade, since we did that transition, it just fades nicely. There's no harsh lines, but I'm gonna just blend the two colors together. And I'm gonna keep doing this for every color I add, just blending them together after I place them. So now I'm gonna start taking darker shades. So I'm gonna take an even, like this is a crease brush technically. This is the Y18, and as you can see, it's very slim, but wide. I'm gonna take this shade right here, you can see. Really patting away that excess because we don't want the dark shade to go anywhere higher than our transition shade, because then there'd be no point of that transition shade. I'm first just placing the shadow and then I'm gonna blend it out. I'm just adding this all around my crease. And then once you place it, just blend it out, just so it's nice and even. And what I like to do is just take the shades I took before. So going back with my Y17, I'm gonna go back in with the second shade we took. just so it looks nice and smooth. I'm just taking the Wet n Wild crease brush. I don't add more of the transition shade because the transition shade might lighten the color that we already put, so I'm just using it clean. So we're gonna go even darker than this because we really want, when we do the half cut crease, for it to be more defined. So I'm just gonna take the brown shade right next to it, and I'm gonna try to go underneath the color we just went, so it's kind of lower than your crease. And we're gonna take that second color we took again, just to blend it all out. You can see everything is very seamless because we blended. And now we're gonna take a concealer and do a half cut crease. So I'm a bit closer because this is the tricky part. I'm gonna take the Fit Me in Fair, and I like to take a light shade for half cut creases. If you have hooded eyes, you want to be able to see it, so you're gonna have to go a little bit over. Just gonna go right in the center right there. Like there's my end point. Just use my pupil to see. And I'm gonna slowly just start to carve it out to the end point. Half cut crease doesn't need to be perfect right now either, because we're gonna add a gold, so it'll look even cleaner than this. I'm just gonna take what I used to clean out my brow, kind of blend that concealer out in the corner. And I'm actually gonna take the Y17 and just blend that concealer. Okay, so now we're gonna wanna set that. I'm just gonna take the little poof poof and the air spun. And I like to just take a hunk of powder, make sure not to go into the eyeshadow. You can just use eyeshadow to set it, but I like to make sure to get everything. Just gonna brush that away real quick. You look like a crackhead for a little. We're gonna go in with our palette again, and we're gonna take that secondary color. We're gonna use that as a transition to go into the half cut crease. Don't just want to add a deep color and then it'll be like a harsh line. You can start going in with darker colors. So I'm going to take my Y18 and just start using the same colors we did like before. So I'm going to take this color, the third color we used, this one. And I love this brush to just define the outer corner too, because it really gets in there. I'm going to blend that. Going with that really dark shade, the third one we used. This one right here. I'm gonna make sure even our lash line has some too. Make sure not to skip over that. I'm just placing this. So we're gonna blend the heck out of this now. So taking that second color again. Sick of me saying that now. Really just blend in all of the colors we added. And I'm actually gonna place this one right here because I want to lighten it up a bit more because I went a little too far. So if that happens, just take a light shade. This is just the large eyeshadow brush from Wet n Wild. And then you gotta blend that. I'm actually just gonna take that shade and put it all over the half cut crease, just so it's an even tone. I'm gonna take this NYX Studio Liquid Liner, and this is in gold, and this really pops in pictures. So if you take Instagram pictures like I do, this pops more than just plain glitter. We're gonna use this to just line a bit of that half cut crease. Make sure your hand is on a desk or whatever. Like, I can barely explain what I'm doing, but as you can see, I stop at a certain point and kind of make sure that that looks a little faded. So the final result should look a little like this. I'm gonna take NYX matte liquid liner. I'm gonna do my liner off camera and also this other eye, and I'll get back to you because it takes a little while. So I ended up just using the NYX gold liner and putting that over my black. And now I'm just gonna put on mascara now. I'm gonna put on lashes later. I'm gonna take the Better Than Sex mascara. But first I'm just gonna curl my lashes. Now that I've added mascara to my upper lashes, I'm gonna mix two foundations, and I'm gonna mix the Lancome Tints, this one. I'm gonna mix Lancome and Clinique's Acne foundation, because Lancome is a really good foundation, but I got it in the summertime, so it's a bit darker, and the Clinique is a little too light for me, so mixing both of them just really my perfect foundation color. Okay, now that I've mixed it, I'm going to take my damp Real Techniques, just clean the spatula. Oh, and also my primer, I just used this spray, and that's kind of it. It's more for dewy looks if you like that. So I'm just gonna apply this foundation, and I'll be right back for concealer and setting powder and all that jazz. Now that I finished my foundation, I'm gonna take the Maybelline's Fit Me Concealer in Fair. Now that I've applied, as you can see right here, my forehead. Here I don't have anything to contour. This is the only contour I do with liquid. So now that I'm done blending out my concealer, I'm going to take that Airspun powder and just bake underneath. There's a mirror right behind here, and that's what I'm looking at. And set my face with this powder. I'm gonna first take bronzer, and this is beloved by a lot of YouTubers. So they got me hooked on it, and it smells amazing. I'm gonna take the Wi-Fi brush, and again, I'm just bronzing the areas first, so kind of like eyeshadow transition. I'm just taking this before we go in with harsh contour. People used to go like this to see. That's kind of where I'm taking this. Take it right here, bottom of my lips. And I don't really contour my nose, but I like to seem like I do. But I'm just kind of just bronzing my nose. Take the Profusion, and I got this at Marshall's for $4. Already hit pan in this one, but it's because it has a lot of kickback to it. I'm gonna mix these two. We'll try it too, because this one doesn't take any damage. It's more this that has a lot of kickback to it. And I'm gonna just kind of place it first, and then start blending it out. I also take it to the forehead too. Now I am going to also bake under here, just so it seems cleaner. This also highlights it too, so kind of best of both worlds. We're just gonna let ourselves bake for 5 minutes. We don't need this to bake too long. I'm actually gonna take a little bit more. But while this is baking, I usually do my lashes. Plastic is gone. But I take the eyeliner ones in Bronze Beauty, as you can see, and then my Duo black with a brush, black glue. And I'll be right back and then we'll brush this off. Okay, I'm gonna take the Y1 brush and just brush off this bake. Have you ever noticed that lashes really put a look together? I'm gonna go back in with that eyeshadow palette and I'm gonna take the brush we have, which was Y18, first taking that second shade, of course, and I'm just using that as a transition. This is where all the funny faces come out to play. I'm gonna mix those two darker colors, these two, and I'm gonna go in from the corner and blend it out. So now that we've added eyeshadow on the bottom, I'm gonna take the Ulta black liner, yeah, automatic eyeliner, and I'm gonna first warm it up the back of my hand and then put it on so it slides on better. Just like a little out that range. I'm also gonna put it right there so there's no negative space between the lashes and your eye. Now that we put it on, I'm gonna just blend that out. So that we have everything we need in the lower eye, I'm just gonna take that Better Than Sex mascara. I'm gonna spray my face with the Rose spray, just so all that powder that we put melts in. I'm also gonna try a new product today. This is the Jeffree Star Summer Snow Cone. Let's see how this looks. I usually use the So Hollywood from Anastasia, and that's like my favorite highlighter ever. It has such a nice glow, but we're gonna try this today. I'm gonna take my Y14, and if I don't like it, then we're just gonna have to take So Hollywood. But I just thought, since this is kind of a gold look, that'd be nice. Ooh, that's pretty. I'm just gonna highlight Cupid's bow. I kind of highlight wherever, and that's my problem. Highlight nose. And I love a nice highlighted chin. Yeah, I think I'm gonna take some spray just so this pops more. Look at that. Ooh. I'm in love. I'm just gonna keep dipping in here. Okay, I'm gonna take just a little right here. Just a little. And then I'm gonna just spray that down again. Use a lot of this. Yeah, that looks really nice. I'm gonna blend it in now with some blush. I'm gonna take the Wet n Wild blush, and it is in Pearl Scent Pink. I'm saying that correctly. I'm gonna take my Y4, and this like gets you blushing. It's pretty pigmented for Wet n Wild, so I try to make sure I tap out everything. Kinda take my bronzer brush, just ooh. Now, what lip shade should we take today? Let's see. This one, NYX lingerie in ruffled trim. So I'll apply that and be right back, and then we have the finished look. So I almost forgot the inner corner highlights, so I took the same highlighter and my brow bone, and then I also used the clear that's not so clear anymore, Great Lash, just so my eyebrows don't look as powdery. That is the final look. I hope you guys enjoyed my first YouTube makeup tutorial. So any suggestions, comment down below and subscribe for more. Can't promise a weekly video, but you know, subscribe for more. Love you guys. Bye.